everybody. I'm super excited because this is going to be a great information. We're all spending so much time now on social media, so it's important to get the tools, to get the knowledge, to do it right. And we have Melissa here. Okay. It's connecting, so in a couple of seconds we'll have her on the screen with us. Hey, Melissa.
There we go. Hi.
Thank you for joining us. I'm super excited about hearing all your tips because I've been using them and they really work very well. So we have some of our agents, some other agents joining, and we are going to discuss today some important tips. A question that I get all the time is, how do I pick my hashtags? What really do hashtags mean for engagement and for growth? And so we want to hear your experience with that.
Yeah, hashtags are a big question that we get a lot, and there's a number of ways that you can do that hashtag search. The easiest way is on Instagram, and we've seen that people who use a mix of hashtags that are more broad-reaching, as well as ones that are a little bit more niche. So you can think of that as, hashtag real estate is a very broad one that's going to have a lot of posts connected to it. But then something like, I'm in Oklahoma, so hashtag Oklahoma City is going to be much smaller of a hashtag to use. So using a mix of those, but the best place to do research is on Instagram itself. So when you're typing in a hashtag in the search bar, you can click on it. So yeah, let's see if I can turn my camera around. And maybe just show a little bit. So I know this is on the computer, so it's going to look a little bit different, but if we type in hashtag real estate, there we go. And so we see there's 35 million posts, and then down here, these are those related hashtags. So there's just listed, real estate life, homes for sale, realty. Those are good ones to be using because those are the ones that Instagram is showing are popular and are used in conjunction with one another.
And how do we manage the balance between popular and too popular? Because I know that at the same time we want hashtags that people are searching for, but at the same time, if they are too popular, how do we stand out in the midst of these millions and millions of people posting with that hashtag?
Yeah, that's why the mix is really important. And so something like real estate is going to be that really popular one with 35 million posts. But then I'm going to click on just listed to see what those are. So that one's 2 million. So that one's a lot smaller of a hashtag versus the 35 million. And then, of course, since I work for Tailwind, I also got to give a shout out to our hashtag finder tool, which allows you to type in your caption and recommend hashtags contextually based on what you are saying. And when you hover over those hashtags, you can see how popular they are. And we also color code them so that you can just really easily, quickly click on them and add them to your caption, click through and see what they like, and get that good really easily in the caption.
And what is the number that we're shooting for? What would be our optimal, like, is it something that's around 1 million, 2 million, less than that?
So the sweet spot that we found is somewhere between like 100,000 and 2 million. It's a pretty wide range, I know. But the ones that are closer to the 100,000, those are going to be a little bit more niche, but they still have people using them. People are still searching for that hashtag. They're still using it. It's just going to be, there's something like hashtag OKC for where I live. And so something like OKC mixed with some of those bigger ones, even the just listed at 2 million, that's going to give you a great reach. And as for the number of hashtags to use, you have up to 30. And if you have 30 super relevant hashtags that are related to what you're posting about, go ahead and use them all, but don't force it.
Okay. Can we repeat the same hashtags all the time, like have a list and copy and paste, or does that get old with time? What are your thoughts about that?
I would have a few lists. So depending on what you're posting about, have a couple of lists that have slightly different hashtags. You can have a few like core hashtags that you always use. So for your local community, it's probably a good idea to always use those local hashtags since you're trying to get people to purchase in that local community. But if you're showing a farmhouse style home versus a very traditional style home, you don't want to use hashtag farmhouse, hashtag traditional architecture on those posts that are not necessarily related. So I would definitely make a few lists, and you can keep those in your notes app and just copy and paste them in, or of course you can use Tailwind and we'll keep track of all of that for you.
Okay, yes, which I am using. And another thing that I noticed is that, for example, if you put something like new listing, and it appears with millions of views, but then you put new listing Miami or new listing in a specific area, then it reduces drastically. So for real estate agents, I think it's a great idea to use both.
Yep.
Use the general term and then the niche that they are trying to attract, which may be a specific building or a certain development or a city.
Right.
Any other suggestions? I would like you to tell the story which you wrote in one of your blogs that I thought it explained. It really sank in with me. How you compared the hashtags with super large hotels with millions of rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to what that would be. We have a few writers on the team, so it may not have been me, but I think the general idea is, if you have a ton of hashtags that you can use, go ahead and mix those in. And I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong, if the analogy is incorrect.
Well, it was comparing Instagram and the hashtags to a humongous hotel with billions of rooms. Mm-hmm. So your Instagram, each person's Instagram is one room among billions of other rooms in the 3 trillion floor. Right. And if you expect to meet people with that amount of visitors or guests in that Instagram hotel, then if you go to the lobby, you probably are going to get lost because it's so many people that you can't really connect with anyone. But if you go to specific activities within that building, like for example, if you are into yoga, or if you are into yachts, or into golf, and those are the hashtags. That's when you go to that room is where you meet the people that you want to meet and to connect with. So I think that that's a great way of looking at hashtags, trying to think what are the terms that the person you're trying to connect with is thinking of or using.
Yeah, and that's how I try to frame the hashtags to people. It's a community. That's all it is. That's how communities gather on Instagram. The hotel connection is really great. I bet my coworker Chris wrote that. That sounds like her genius writing there. But it is just the way that communities interact on it.
Great. And is there any difference in the strategy that you recommend for engagement versus followers growth?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that people overlook when trying to grow their Instagram is not paying attention to what's actually working for them. Analytics are so important. And so go in, if you have a business account on Instagram, which if you're running a real estate agency or trying to sell homes through Instagram, definitely recommend having a business account because you get access to those analytics. And so you can go in and see what your most popular posts are, what your most popular stories are, and pay attention to what it is that your audience is connecting with and try to build more content like that so you can grow by providing your audience the things that they want to see. And that'll really help you with your reach. It'll help you get people liking and commenting on your Instagram posts, interacting with your stories, and really growing that value on Instagram that you can provide.
And how many times per day do you recommend posting?
With stories, I would say you can post as often as you'd like. It's one of the beautiful things about stories is that it is that 24 hours, you get to give a little peek behind the curtain, talk about your day, talk about what you're doing, give the personal side of your brand. When it comes to posting on the feed, if you can do every day, that's great. I know not all of us have that many pieces of content. So one of the things that another genius coworker came up with was this value factor. So it's a way to post 5 times per day, 5 times per week with 5 different valuable pieces of content. And so it's actually an anagram, is that the right word? So each letter stands for something. And so within the value framework, we have V for valuable. Post something that is going to be of value to your followers. So it can be tips on staging a home, or tips for finding the right real estate agent, things like that. Something that's going to be really, really valuable to your followers and keep them coming back to you for that information. The A is for aspirational. And so I think this is a really great place for real estate agents to provide that amazing, aspirational, beautiful home decor, beautiful architecture, those things that people really want to be double tapping and liking and commenting on, that show this is what you could have if you purchased this house, that type of thing. Life cycle is the L in value, and that just means making sure that you are providing continual traffic. So that's creating a post that points to your link in your bio, or a certain story or post, or just getting that interaction, really building up the life cycle of your brand by using those posts. U is for unique. There's lots of real estate agents out there, so why are you the one that your audience should choose? What makes you unique? What makes you connect with your clients? Make sure you put that front and center and you're showing people what that's like. And the last one is evergreen. So of course, how's it sell? You're not always going to have that beautiful tutor on your Instagram that you'll be used forever and ever. But there are things that you can post. So that can be something about your philosophy with selling homes, or the way that you approach real estate. Whatever it is, that thing that can live on forever and will always be true is another thing that you can look to post. So that's 5 different types of content that you can post 5 times per week to your feed, and then use those stories to just show off who you are and what you're doing.
That's great. So divide your posts into 5 categories so that you rotate and it doesn't get tired or boring. Mm-hmm. Next question. You guys always recommend putting yourself out there, and that the posts or the photos that have the person in the picture have much more engagement and impact than a photo of just excuse me, of just a home or a landscape or something like that. Now, there's some people that are camera shy, that have a hard time putting themselves out there. Any advice or any suggestions on how to break into that and be able to, any easy tips to start that?
I would say like right now is actually kind of a great time to be testing this out, because if you are still continuing your business, still trying to grow your business during quarantine, you're going to be talking to people over video chat, kind of like we're doing now. And so it's a good opportunity to get one-on-one interaction. And so once you build up, being comfortable talking to your family over video chat or an individual client over video chat, and trying to break the habit of looking at yourself while talking. I know, like, I keep doing it even now. It's a hard habit to break, but once you get more comfortable with that, then I would say, maybe start with some stories. Record a quick story. If you don't like it, you can delete it. If you find one that, hey, this one's pretty good, go ahead and post it. The worst thing that'll happen is it'll be gone in 24 hours and you don't have to live with it forever. So it's a silver lining of the situation that we're in right now. And everyone's kind of having to get a little bit more comfortable with these video chat.
Yes, I think we're getting good training. Talking about video, we've all heard that video is super important.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rate the efficacy of longer videos in IGTV versus the less than 60-second videos in Instagram? Is there any difference in the impact or the visibility?
Well, one of the benefits of IGTV is not only do you get longer than the 60 seconds, but you still also get a post in your feed. So those IGTV posts come through as a video in your feed, draws people in, and then they'll click through to watch the full thing. Another great thing about the IGTVs is you actually get clickable links in the descriptions, which is something that you don't get pretty much anywhere else on Instagram. Instagram's very stingy with the links. So I think they both have their place. The shorter video feed ones are for, just quick wins, if it can fit into the value framework. So maybe it's, you're showing off how unique you are. And for example, my cat almost just fell off of my shelf. So if I would have recorded that really fast and said, here's what working from home is like, and a cat falling off of a shelf, that's a great feed post that shows I'm unique. I'm a cat lady. I have weird coworkers right now during quarantine. Whereas if I was, showing how to use Tailwind, doing a screen recording of what our iOS app or our Android app is like, that's one that can start as a feed post essentially, because that's how they come through as, but then people click through and watch the full IGTV and can get the link to download it. Or if you're doing a house walkthrough, I think that could be really cool. So after everything's staged, you're going through the house, showing what it looks like. You have that initial 60 seconds on your feed, and then people can click through and see the full IGTV. You can have the listing and the description, and people can actually click through and see that.
Okay, thank you very much. What else is important? Time for posting. What do you recommend as the best times if you're going to post once a day? What do you recommend?
So we actually just did a study about this. I'm going to put my camera around again because I need to look at the numbers as well. But here you can see that we have professional services, which is what we categorize as real estate agents, people, CPAs, people that are trying to have a professional service on Instagram. And from our study, it was recently launched, so very recent data, the best days to post are Mondays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And the best days for...
So Monday, Saturday, and Sunday, and 3 a.m. That's what your study shows as the best times to post. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys, about that. These are the beauty of the live Instagram.
Yeah.
Like we have to put up with the good and with the bad. Let me see. Guys there, any questions, anything that we are forgetting to mention and that you would like to know? Someone said to really get some impact, then what you want is to reach the people that you're interested in connecting with, not just high numbers.
Right.
We have here another comment. There are companies that have hollow accounts that will like all of your posts for a fee. What do you think about that?
It's good for vanity metrics, but it's not actually going to do anything for your business.
Okay, so again, like with anything that we do, first, before starting, we need to ask ourselves, what is our goal? What do we want to achieve by doing this?
Right, exactly.
Very well. So we are about to finish this session. Is there any other tip that you think that it's really, really important for people in sales and particularly in real estate to keep in mind? Any piece of advice?
I think the big thing that a lot of people on Instagram, just in general, don't pay enough attention to is their analytics. So what are people with? What posts are they really engaging with? What are the stories that you're getting replies from? Paying attention to that and then growing from there is going to be really, really beneficial for your business.
So it's about trial and error. So we have to kind of go back to our past posts and see how they did, and then try to compare. If I post something similar at a different time of the day, do I have more engagement? What topics that I'm posting, what backgrounds have a better, for example, I found out that when I was doing my videos for Agent Wisdom in the office, and then I started doing them in my terrace, in my balcony that has a beautiful background, water view, and the number of views went up significantly. So, which means that has nothing to do with the content of the video. It was just the background. So those are things to pay attention to. Carol is asking, how good would it be to accept an offer on being ambassador?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's referencing, I'm afraid.
Carol, I think that you're referring to when companies ask you to promote their products, and it always has to do with, is that a product that aligns with what you are selling? Because if you are in real estate sales, you are an ambassador for sneakers, I don't know how is that going to help you, or it may even interfere or be a little bit confusing. So as long as it's something that matches and aligns with your purpose, with your goal on Instagram, it could be a good idea. Another question, what's your advice on perfecting the skill of following up?
Ooh, that's a tough one, especially on Instagram. You definitely want, with stories, it's a little bit harder because they do disappear after 24 hours. So I would say make sure you're keeping track of the ones that are really interested. Maybe make an Excel spreadsheet or put them in your notes app or something, just so you can follow up with them after. If specifically for Instagram, I would definitely make sure that if it's through stories, you're keeping track of that outside of Instagram, just because those stories disappear after 24 hours.
Very good. Okay, so we are at the end of our live session for today, and I want to thank you very much. And guys, if you go to my smart bio, in my profile, in my bio, you will see Instagram tools, and you can find the link to connect. I'm using this to schedule my posts so that when I have a busy day, I know that I'm still posting regularly. When I have time, I prepare sometimes 3-4 posts in advance, and then they are scheduled for every day. And I'm also using it to test the hashtags and keep lists. So it's really working for me. But my advice is keep track of what you're doing. That's very important. When you're posting, think about who you are trying to reach, and allow people to see who you are, because we all want to connect with real people. We want to see who's behind that picture of a home or that beautiful postcard. And we all are aiming for real connections, or at least as real as possible. So don't be scared to put yourself out there. I wish you a happy Instagramming, and have a happy Friday, everybody. Melissa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it was great to have you here. Virtual hugs to everybody. Stay well.